The issue of immigration is one of the most emotive, if not the most emotive issue here in the United States, as it is in many countries, including Australia. Now, the emotions of that debate have been strengthened dramatically following the shooting this week of 2 US National Guards shot in Washington, D.C., only a few blocks from the White House. The alleged shooter was a man from Afghanistan who had come to the United States as part of a program that the Biden administration had introduced to try to look after Afghanis who had helped American soldiers when they were in Afghanistan fighting the Taliban. Now, the alleged shooter is reported to have been part of a team called the Zero Unit, which was associated with the American military and in fact reportedly associated with the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, and its stated mission was for combat missions to seize or kill suspected terrorists. It targeted fighters from groups like the Taliban, Al-Qaeda or Islamic State. Now, it's not clear exactly what role the alleged shooter played with that, but it believed that he was part of that team and did help the Americans. Now, President Trump, in response to the shooting of the 2 National Guards, has said that there will now be he will permanently pause migration to the US from third world countries. President Trump hasn't outlined exactly what those third world countries would be, but it's believed they will include countries such as Afghanistan, Cuba, Haiti, Iran, Somalia, Venezuela and Libya. He says now that this indicates that certainly under the Biden administration that the vetting of migrants coming to the United States was not thorough enough. However, the defenders of the policy say that in fact this man, along with many others who came from Afghanistan, had been thoroughly vetted. So where this debate now goes is not really clear. We do know that President Trump has said that he will boost the number of National Guard here in Washington, D.C. by about 500. Now, the deployment of National Guard to cities around the United States is a controversial policy. It's something that President Trump's own political base, the Make America Great Again movement or the MAGA movement, is strongly supportive of. However, critics say that it should be the police who are trying to counter crime in cities in America, not American troops. The National Guard, after all, are part of the American military. Their normal deployment is for things such as floods and natural disasters, and they're rarely deployed onto the streets of America. Historically, when there was something like the riots in Los Angeles many years ago, the governor of a state such as California may ask the federal government, the president of the time, if there could be National Guard deployed to help with something like a riot or the breakout of civil unrest. It's unusual for a president to deploy National Guard to particular cities. And because Washington, D.C. has a particular status, it doesn't have a governor. The president here is in effect the governor. And that's one reason that President Trump was able to deploy National Guard here. And it plays well for his base as well, for him to be seen to be tough on law and order. But deploying them to other cities such as Los Angeles is more controversial because, as happened in recent months, the governor of California did not want National Guard troops deployed to Los Angeles when there was some unrest there a few months ago. And so President Trump is not wanting to deploy National Guard to cities where there is resistance. In that sense, Washington, D.C. has been a bit of a test case for the president. Now, the fact that these 2 have been shot is certainly something which has questioned the wisdom of this policy of deploying them, and President Trump is doubling down and saying, in fact, there should be more national troops rather than fewer.